Hello, it is time for another video, and as you probably guessed from the title, this is going to be my December TBR. So therefore, Christmas, but I was not going to set myself an actual TBR for December, but I do have some books that I am hoping to get to in December. So this isn't, apart from the ones I'm buddy reading, which is quite a big pile, and the ones I'm picking out for the mini Polarathon weekend that JD Ray Reads is doing. This isn't a set TBR if I don't get to the books, although apart from buddy reads and the mini Polarathon, there's only 2 books. But we're gonna go with it anyway. So I'm gonna start off with the 2 books I've picked out for the mini Polarathon. So JD Ray Reads does Polarathon in, I believe it's February. I discovered Jade's channel in March-April time, so I have not participated in Polarathon today. I am very excited for February when it's a month-long one, and she is doing a mini Polarathon, which is one weekend in December, where it's just, it's a self-care. It's not a, there's no prompts, you just read Polar Fantasy and have a self-care weekend. And I'm gonna get some snacks in. I'm gonna have a hot chocolate or 5. I'm gonna have probably mulled wine. I'm gonna have Christmassy PJs, Christmassy music, the Christmas tree lights on, blankets, face masks. And I've picked 2 books, only 2, because I don't want to pressure myself, it's only a weekend. So first up, I have picked Frostheart Escape from Aurora by Jamie Lidler, because I am currently reading Frostheart 1, and even though I'm only like 95 pages in, I love it. And I'm very excited to get to the sequel. So I will be definitely 100% picking this up as my first read of the mini Polarathon. And also, look at the edges. And then my second book I have picked for mini Polarathon is a young adult polar fantasy, and that is Winterwood by Shea Ernshaw. So this is witchy and it's set in a wintry wood. Yeah, there's like a snowstorm, so there's fantasy and there's like winter. So I'm doing this. I'm very excited to get to this. I love Shea Ernshaw's writing in The Wicked Deep, and I'm very excited to see where she goes with this one. So now on to the buddy reads, and actually no, one more. I need to read Return of King, like the 3rd Lord of the Rings book, but this will depend, like for this is for Tolkien Along, which is hosted by Ashley and Beth and Lauren. But this will depend on whether I get to read The Two Towers this month, because I have been a bit behind on Tolkien Along and I haven't got to Two Towers yet, and we are almost near the end of November. So this one is a possibility, and I may have to roll The Two Towers over to December and read them both in December. But these I am listening to the audiobooks whilst reading along, because the writing's pretty small and my eyes can't deal with it. Now on to the buddy reads. So I am buddy reading quite a few books in December. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but first up is the Christmassy one. So I'm buddy reading these with my mum. She has never read them before. I have read them both once, and I'm excited to reread them, and that is The Christmasaurus and The Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch by Tom Fletcher. These books are so magical, it's unreal. I absolutely adore these books. I read the first book the year it came out, I believe, and I think that was 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Let's have a look. 2016, 4 years ago. So I read this the year it came out, like the Christmas it was out, because I was just like, I have to, it's amazing. And then last year, I think it was, the second book come out. I love these books so much. They are so nostalgia isn't the word, but they're just so Christmassy and they're just so heartwarming, and I love them so much. They are amazing, and the illustrations in these are incredible, and they just really help bring the story to life. So I'm buddy reading these with my mum, and I'm excited for her to read them as well, because they're amazing. The next book is the final book in a series which me, my mum and my sister are buddy reading, and that is Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. We have loved reading this series and I can't believe we're already on book 5. I think we're starting this literally on like the 1st of December, but this series has been incredible. I'm so annoyed at myself that I didn't read it earlier in my life, but I was obsessed with another book series for some reason. But I'm really glad I'm finally getting to this, and I absolutely adore this series. It makes me laugh, it makes me cry, and I just love it. The next book I'm going to be buddy reading is actually with Jazz and Kelly. So we have been buddy reading books for like 2.5 years now, and I love buddy reading with them. I've said it in my vlogs before, we originally started off buddy reading the Shadowhunters Chronicles because they had never read them before and I wanted to reread them. And then when we eventually finished those this year, we moved on to the Ember and the Ashes series, and then we are now reading the Mistborn series. So we are currently reading book 2, which is The Well of Ascension. So we are going to be moving on to book 3, The Hero of Ages, in December, and I'm very excited. I absolutely adore this series. And we actually thought it was a trilogy. No, it turns out there's 6 books in the series, but books 4, 5 and 6 aren't the same characters, and they take place like 300 years later. So we're going to be reading this one. And we are also, I don't have a physical copy because it's not even out yet, but A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir comes out on the 1st of December, so we will be buddy reading that. I am not getting a physical copy, however Kelly is going to be having the audiobook, so she's very kindly going to be lending me that so that I can listen and we can buddy read it like we have with the other 3 books. And I'm so excited but also scared for the characters, but I'm very, very excited. And then the final 2 buddy reads I will be doing with Liv. Now, we both love this series and we both have been wanting to reread it for ages, but I have so many books that I haven't read before, so I've been not rereading books unless it's on a buddy read, and Liv's been pretty slumpy, so we've decided to buddy read these together, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. So we have worked it out and we've figured that we're only going to be able to fit in the first 2 in December, but we will be reading ACOWAR and ACOFAS in January. But that's going to be on my January TBR, but we will be buddy reading the first 2 books in the ACOTAR series, and we are very excited. And then for the rest of the month, I'm going to just try and be really chill, and just like pick up books then and there that I want to read, which obviously you'll see in my vlogs but you won't see in this video. But there are 2 that I am going to be reading in December, and the first one I have actually promised my friend Ellen that I will read this book in December. She screenshotted it and she's posted it on Twitter, so it's out there on the internet, and that is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I've had this book for 3 years, I think. It could be 4, I can't remember. I think it's 3, and I've just never got round to reading it. And the trailer for the film came out the other day and it looks so good, and Ellen has read the whole series and she adores it. So when the trailer came out, and I was freaking out about the trailer, not just because Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley are in, but because it genuinely does look amazing. Also, Mads Mikkelsen and Nick Jonas, like that casting is incredible. Anyway, off track. Yes, she's very excited for me to read this, and she's been nagging me to read this for like the last year. And she did actually accidentally spoil something in this series, but she's very lucky because I've completely forgotten what the spoiler was. I feel like it might be a character death, but I can't remember what character is, so she's safe. I've forgotten. So yeah, I'm getting to this one. And then the final book that I 100% want to read in December, I have been putting this off and I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why, because I know I'll love it, but I also know it will rip my heart out. But it's got to the point where I've started seeing spoilers and I don't want to see any more spoilers. And also book 2 should be coming out in a few months, and that is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I pre-ordered this, so I've got this edition. I pre-ordered this, so I got it at the beginning of March, and I still haven't read it. Like I said, I don't know why I've been putting this off so much, because I know I'm going to love it. I love Sarah J Maas. I've never disliked any of her books, and I still haven't read this. I don't know why I've been putting it off. It's not even the size, because like it's not even that big compared to, it's not as big as Kingdom of Ash, and Kingdom of Ash I literally got and devoured straight away. So it's not the size of the book. I think it's just the hype. Like, even though I know I'm gonna like it, there's that niggling doubt, like, what if I don't? And it's intimidating me because of that. But I'm going to read it. I've been saying all year, I will read this before the end of 2020. Well, now I've only got a month a month left to do it. So this is happening in December, 100%. And you can come for me if it gets to the end of December and this is still not read. Like, you can come for me. I'm giving you full permission to do it, because I'm calling myself out here. I am going to read this in December. So that's all the books that I said I wasn't going to do a TBR. This is a huge TBR. There is 11 books on this TBR, which, do you know what? That is not that bad, because on average, I read around 10 to 12 books in a month when I'm not slumping. Now, in October, I was very slumpy. I only read 8 books, which is the least amount of books I think I've ever read in a month since I've been tracking like what books I read. But this month so far, I'm already on book 10. No, I'm already on book 11, and it's only the 21st. Yeah, I'm ahead on filming this. Like, I know. I'm proud of me too. But it's only the 21st and I'm already on book 11. Technically, I'm also on book 12 because I've got 2 books on the go. But yeah, like, I'm already doing better than last month. So I'm hoping this means my slump is ending, and I'm hoping reading favourites and also buddy reading, I'm hoping it will help me get through these a lot quicker. I mean, we're going to do like 100 pages a day, which seems like a lot, but these are going to be very easy to get through, because not only are they rereads, they were very easy to read the first time I read them. Like, I absolutely adore these books so much. So yeah, I think the ones that might take me the longest is that one that one, the only ones I'm not buddy reading, and that aren't to do with the readathon. But yeah, I'm really excited to get through these, and I do think that buddy reading will help a lot. I'm very excited for this TBR, and very excited for December. Like, it's Christmas nearly. I'm so excited. Can you tell? Can you tell? I was hoping to also get to This Winter by Alice Oseman. However, I do want to read Solitaire before I read This Winter, and oh, I forgot one. I literally just remembered another. I was wrapping up this video and remembered another book that I want to read in December that isn't on any readathons or anything, and that is Love Secret Santa by S.A. Domingo. Like, I was gifted this one, I believe. Oh no, the little slip's not in there. I was gifted this one back in like February, March time, so obviously it was too late to read because it wasn't Christmas. So I've been saving this one for December, so of course I'm reading this one in December. I think I'm going to leave this one until right before Christmas so that it is even more Christmassy. But yes, I'm very excited to read this, and yeah, it's Christmassy. Yay! Okay, so can't believe I almost forgot a book. Anyway, so that was my, I would say, tentative TBR, but it's a pretty set TBR because it's mostly buddy reads. So this is my TBR, but my possibly incomplete TBR, because if by some miracle I do manage to get through all these and there's still time in December, then you know I'm picking something else up, but I just don't know what, because I've been putting so much pressure on myself with readathons this year. And don't get me wrong, readathons are so much fun. I love participating, I love hosting them, but I do need a break from a readathon, even if it's just 1 month, because I've literally done at least one readathon every single month since March this year. So I do need a break, and I'm not counting Tolkien Along, and I'm not counting Mini Polarathon, because Mini Polarathon is a weekend and it's not a set prompt list, and Tolkien Along is 1 book a month, so I'm not counting those. They don't count for December. But I need a break from a month-long readathon because it's just put so much pressure on me, and I think that might be part of the reason I've been slumping. So next year I'm going to try not to do as many, I say, as I've already got plans to do one in January and February. So yeah, that was my TBR. Let me know in the comments below if you are setting yourself a TBR, or even if you're not setting yourself a TBR for December, if there are any books in particular that you would like to get to in December, let me know. And if you liked this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.